Welcome, fellow seekers of the strange and the supernatural, to Whispers in the Dark, your go-to channel for spine-chilling tales and haunted histories. Here, we delve deep into the eerie corners of the world, where shadows whisper secrets and walls echo with stories untold. Today, we embark on a chilling journey through one of the most mystically rich and undeniably haunted regions in the United States, Washington State. Known for its lush forests, towering mountains, and vibrant cities, Washington is also home to some of the most haunted places you'll ever encounter. From the creaking floorboards of centuries-old buildings to the ghostly streets of abandoned towns, this Pacific Northwest gem holds countless mysteries waiting to be uncovered. In this two-part series, we will explore the dark side of Washington's charm, peeling back the veil of its haunting allure. This first installment sets the stage for an unforgettable dive into the supernatural. We'll uncover the chilling legends behind some of Washington's most infamous locations, where history and horror collide in ways that defy explanation. Whether you're a skeptic or a believer, prepare to have your curiosity piqued and your courage tested as we venture into the unknown. So grab your flashlight, keep your wits about you, and join us as we step into the shadows of Washington's haunted past. Let the whispers begin. The haunting legacy of Seattle, a city steeped in spirit. Seattle, often celebrated for its picturesque skyline, thriving arts scene, and iconic coffee culture, hides a darker narrative beneath its vibrant surface. Nestled between Puget Sound and Lake Washington, this bustling metropolis is steeped in history, some of it tragic, much of it unexplained. Known as one of America's most haunted cities, Seattle's supernatural reputation stems from its turbulent past, marked by devastating fires, economic booms, and the struggles of marginalized communities. These events have left an indelible mark on the city, creating a fertile ground for ghostly encounters and paranormal phenomena. The Great Seattle Fire of 1889 serves as a pivotal moment in the city's haunted history. What began as a small blaze in a wooden building quickly spiraled out of control, consuming over 30 blocks of downtown Seattle. The fire claimed lives, destroyed livelihoods, and left thousands homeless. In the aftermath, the city rebuilt itself, not above the ruins, but literally atop them. Streets were raised, and entire neighborhoods were buried beneath the new infrastructure. These subterranean passageways, known today as the Seattle Underground, are said to harbor restless spirits who refuse to leave their former homes. Visitors touring the underground often report hearing disembodied voices, seeing shadowy figures dart across dimly lit corridors, and feeling sudden drops in temperature. Some claim to have been followed by unseen entities, their footsteps echoing ominously in the confined spaces. Beyond the underground, Seattle's haunted legacy extends to its historic districts, where buildings constructed during the city's rapid expansion still stand. The Smith Tower, once the tallest skyscraper west of the Mississippi River, is rumored to be haunted by the spirit of its namesake, Lyman Cornelius Smith. Employees and visitors alike have reported strange occurrences within its ornate halls, including elevators moving without operators, lights flickering inexplicably, and the faint sound of typewriters clacking in empty offices. Others speak of encountering a spectral woman dressed in Victorian-era attire, believed to be the ghost of a former tenant who met an untimely end within the tower's walls. Another iconic location is the Moore Theater, Seattle's oldest operating theater. Opened in 1907, the venue has hosted countless performances, from vaudeville acts to modern concerts. Yet, it is also whispered to be a hotspot for paranormal activity. Performers preparing backstage describe feeling an unseen presence watching them, while audience members seated in the balcony claim to hear faint applause or laughter emanating from empty rows. The most famous ghost said to haunt the Moore Theater is that of a young girl named Emily, whose playful spirit reportedly roams the aisles. Witnesses described seeing her apparition skipping through the lobby or peeking out from behind curtains, only to vanish when approached. Seattle's diverse cultural history also contributes to its haunted reputation. During the early 20th century, the city's Chinatown International District became a hub for Chinese immigrants seeking opportunity. However, discriminatory laws and harsh living conditions forced many into poverty, leading to overcrowded tenements and underground opium dens. These spaces, now long abandoned, are said to be haunted by the spirits of those who suffered there. Locals recount tales of ghostly figures wandering aimlessly through alleyways, their faces obscured by shadows. Others describe hearing faint cries for help or the distant sound of footsteps echoing through deserted streets. What makes Seattle particularly unique is how seamlessly its haunted history intertwines with everyday life. Ghost tours are a staple of the city's tourism industry, drawing visitors eager to glimpse the supernatural. Historic hotels like the Sorrento Hotel and the Arctic Club boast their own spectral residents, offering guests a chance to sleep under the same roof as restless spirits. Even casual strolls through Pioneer Square reveal subtle signs of otherworldly presence, shadows that move when they shouldn't, doors that open and close on their own, or the faint scent of perfume wafting through empty halls. The Sorrento Hotel. Elegance meets the supernatural. Nestled in the heart of Seattle's First Hill neighborhood, the Sorrento Hotel stands as a striking convergence of old-world elegance and spectral intrigue. Since its opening in 1909, this grand dame of hospitality has welcomed luminaries ranging from literary icons to Hollywood stars, earning its place as a cultural cornerstone of the Pacific Northwest. Yet beneath its polished facade lies a darker narrative, one woven with threads of tragedy, passion, and the supernatural. The Sorrento Hotel is not merely a venue for luxury accommodations, it is a stage where the boundaries between life and death blur, leaving guests and staff alike questioning whether the whispers they hear come from the living or the departed. The hotel's haunted reputation stems from a series of incidents that span its storied history. One of the most enduring legends centers around a mysterious woman known only as the Lady in White. According to local lore, she was a guest at the Sorrento during the early 1900s, visiting Seattle for reasons unknown. Her stay ended tragically when she fell, or was pushed, from one of the upper floor windows, her body discovered on the cobblestones below. Since then, numerous reports have surfaced of a spectral figure clad in flowing white robes roaming the halls and rooms of the hotel. Guests describe seeing her reflection in mirrors, only to turn and find no one there. Some claim to feel a gentle touch on their shoulder or hear soft humming emanating from empty suites, believed to be the Lady in White reliving moments from her final days. Beyond her ghostly presence, the Sorrento is said to harbor other spirits who refuse to relinquish their connection to the building. Among them is a mischievous entity dubbed the Phantom Bellboy, whose antics range from playful to downright disruptive. Housekeeping staff working late shifts have reported finding luggage moved without explanation, room service carts rolling down hallways on their own, and keys disappearing only to reappear later in unexpected locations. On several occasions, guests have found personal belongings missing only to discover them later neatly arranged in odd spots, as if someone, or something, was tidying up after them. While these occurrences might seem harmless, they contribute to an atmosphere of unease that permeates the hotel, reminding everyone present that they are not alone. Perhaps the most spine-chilling tale involves the hotel's basement, which once housed a speakeasy during Prohibition. Patrons would gather in secret to indulge in illegal libations, their revelry occasionally interrupted by altercations or accidents. It is said that the spirits of those who perished in such incidents still linger, their anguish etched into every corner of the space. Staff recount hearing faint laughter and the clinking of glasses emanating from the basement, even though no events have taken place there in decades. During renovations in the 1980s, construction workers refused to enter certain areas after repeatedly encountering cold spots and unexplained noises. One worker claimed to have seen a shadowy figure standing in the corner, its face obscured by darkness. When he called out, the figure vanished, leaving behind only silence. Modern-day guests at the Sorrento often serve as unintentional conduits for paranormal activity. Many report strange occurrences that defy logical explanation. Musicians performing in the hotel's fireside room have described instruments playing themselves during rehearsals, while lighting technicians swear they've seen apparitions walking across the stage during blackouts. Audience members seated in the upper balcony sometimes report feeling an unseen presence leaning against their chair or brushing past them, despite ample empty seats nearby. These experiences lend credence to the belief that the hotel operates as a liminal space, a threshold between worlds where the dead continue to seek solace or closure. What sets the Sorrento apart from other haunted hotels is its ability to evoke both awe and apprehension. It is a place where opulence thrives alongside chaos, where the thrill of live performance coexists with the chill of the unknown. Whether you attend a show or simply wander its hallowed halls, the Sorrento demands respect, not just for its artistic legacy, but for the restless souls who call it home. As you take your seat and wait for the curtain to rise, remember, the applause you hear may be more than just admiration for the living. It could very well be a standing ovation from those who never left the stage. The Darrington Schoolhouse. Echoes of despair. Deep within the mist-shrouded valleys of Washington state lies the Darrington Schoolhouse, a relic of education and innocence now shrouded in an aura of dread. Built in the early 20th century, this unassuming structure once served as a beacon of hope for the children of Darrington, a logging town nestled in the foothills of the Cascade Mountains. But over the decades, its purpose shifted from nurturing young minds to housing a darker chapter of human suffering, a psychiatric facility for troubled youth. It is here, amidst the crumbling walls and decaying classrooms, that the schoolhouse earned its reputation as one of Washington's most haunted locations, a place where despair lingers like a stubborn fog. The transformation of the Darrington Schoolhouse from a center of learning to a site of confinement began in the 1940s, when overcrowding in state mental health institutions led officials to repurpose the building. Patients deemed too unruly or unstable for traditional care were sent to this remote outpost, far removed from prying eyes. What transpired within its walls remains largely undocumented, but whispers of abuse, neglect, and tragedy have persisted through oral histories and fragmented records. Former employees and patients who dared to speak of their experiences described a grim environment where screams echoed through the halls, restraints were used liberally, and escape attempts often ended in tragedy. One of the most harrowing accounts comes from a nurse who worked at the facility during the 1960s. She recounted how patients were subjected to experimental treatments, including electroshock therapy and isolation in pitch-black cells. Many succumbed to their conditions, their bodies hastily buried in unmarked graves on the property. The nurse herself claimed to have witnessed apparitions of children wandering the grounds, their faces pale and gaunt, their eyes hollow with despair. She described being awakened in the middle of the night by the sound of tiny footsteps outside her quarters, only to find no one there. Other staff members reported similar experiences, claiming to see shadowy figures darting between rooms or hearing faint sobbing emanating from empty wards. When the facility finally closed its doors in the 1980s, it was left to decay, its secrets locked away behind rusted gates. Yet the spirits of those who suffered there seem unwilling, or unable, to leave. Urban explorers and paranormal investigators drawn to the site speak of an oppressive atmosphere that defies explanation. The air grows colder with each step, carrying with it the unmistakable scent of mildew and decay. Faint echoes reverberate through the darkness, resembling distant cries or muffled pleas for help. Visitors often report feeling an unseen presence brushing against them, accompanied by a profound sense of dread that intensifies the deeper they go. Some claim to see shadowy figures darting just beyond the reach of their flashlights, vanishing before they can be identified. Among the most chilling reports is that of a local historian who ventured into the schoolhouse while researching its sordid past. Armed with only a lantern and a notebook, he stumbled upon a previously sealed-off section of the basement. As he turned a corner, he was confronted by the apparition of a gaunt, barefoot child chained to the wall. The figure's hollow eyes seemed to pierce his soul, and before he could react, the vision disappeared, leaving behind only the faint rattle of phantom chains. Shaken but determined, the historian returned multiple times in hopes of uncovering more evidence, only to find himself plagued by recurring nightmares of being trapped in the schoolhouse, pursued by shadowy figures intent on dragging him into eternal darkness. Paranormal investigators have long been fascinated by the Darrington Schoolhouse, conducting numerous expeditions in search of answers. Using advanced technology such as thermal imaging cameras and electromagnetic field detectors, they've captured intriguing anomalies that suggest the building is indeed haunted. One team recorded a dramatic drop in temperature near a collapsed section of the staircase, accompanied by a spike in electromagnetic activity. Perhaps most unsettling was the discovery of handprints pressed into the dust-covered floors, their size and shape consistent with those of small children, an eerie testament to the young lives forever shaped, or ended, by this forsaken place. what makes the Darrington Schoolhouse particularly unnerving is its ability to evoke primal fears. The claustrophobic environment, combined with the knowledge of the suffering that occurred there, creates a perfect storm of psychological unease. For those who dare to descend, the experience is akin to stepping into a nightmare, one where the line between reality and imagination blurs dangerously. Shadows seem to stretch unnaturally, sounds distort unpredictably, and the very walls appear to close in, as if the earth itself is conspiring to keep intruders trapped. Yet, amid the terror lies a poignant reminder of resilience and hope. The schoolhouse may be haunted, but it also symbolizes the courage of those who dared to dream of freedom. Every footprint preserved in the dust, every whisper carried on the breeze, serves as a tribute to the countless lives shaped, or ended, by these hidden corridors. To explore the Darrington Schoolhouse is to confront not only the supernatural, but also the enduring scars of history. And as you emerge back into the light, blinking against the brightness, you may find yourself haunted less by fear and more by reverence, for the stories etched into the darkness, and the spirits who refuse to be silenced, a relic of war and spectral whispers perched on the shores of Magnolia Bluff overlooking Puget Sound. Fort Lawton stands as a somber sentinel to Washington State's military history. Established in 1898 as part of a broader effort to protect the Pacific coast, this sprawling complex played a pivotal role in both World Wars and the Cold War. Once a bustling hub of activity, housing thousands of soldiers and civilians, Fort Lawton now lies mostly abandoned, its weathered structures standing as silent witnesses to the passage of time. Yet beneath its crumbling facades and rusting gates lies a darker narrative, one steeped in violence, racial tension, and unresolved grief. It is here, amidst the remnants of barracks and parade grounds, that the fort's haunted reputation takes root, drawing those who seek to unravel its spectral mysteries. Fort Lawton's most infamous incident, and arguably the source of its paranormal infamy, occurred in 1944 during World War II. At the height of global conflict, the fort served as a staging ground for troops preparing to deploy overseas. Tensions ran high among the diverse ranks stationed there, exacerbated by systemic racism and segregation policies. On August 14, 1944, a violent altercation erupted between African American soldiers and Italian prisoners of war employed as laborers at the fort. The clash culminated in the death of Private Guglielmo Olivato, an Italian POW whose body was found hanging from a wire fence near the fort's obstacle course. The incident sparked outrage and confusion, leading to the largest court-martial in U.S. military history, during which 43 African American soldiers were unjustly convicted of rioting and manslaughter. Decades later, investigations revealed widespread corruption and misconduct in the trial, prompting posthumous pardons for many of the accused. Yet the injustice endured by these men left an indelible scar on Fort Lawton's legacy. Today, visitors to the site report an overpowering sense of unease, as though the land itself remembers the bloodshed and betrayal that unfolded there. The former barracks, now reduced to skeletal frames overtaken by ivy and moss, are said to be hotspots for paranormal activity. Urban explorers recount hearing disembodied voices shouting in anger or pain, their tones echoing through empty halls. Some describe the sensation of being watched, as though unseen eyes track their every movement. Others claim to see shadowy figures in military uniforms pacing the grounds or standing rigidly at attention, their forms dissolving into mist when approached. One particularly chilling account involves a local photographer who visited Fort Lawton to document its decay. As he set up his equipment near the old mess hall, he noticed a figure reflected in his camera lens, a man in a World War II-era uniform, staring directly at him. Startled, the photographer turned around, only to find the area deserted. When he reviewed the photos later, he discovered the same figure standing in multiple shots, his expression unreadable yet undeniably menacing. Skeptics dismiss the images as tricks of light or lens flares, but the photographer insists otherwise, claiming he felt an overwhelming sense of hostility emanating from the apparition. What sets Fort Lawton apart from other haunted locations tied to war is its layered history of injustice and redemption. Beyond the tragic events of 1944, the fort also bears witness to the broader struggles faced by marginalized groups throughout American history. Native American tribes once inhabited the bluff upon which the fort was built, their displacement mirroring the erasure experienced by the African American soldiers wrongfully convicted decades later. Some believe that the spirits of these indigenous peoples still roam the grounds, their presence intertwined with those of the soldiers and prisoners who came after them. Visitors have reported hearing rhythmic drumming or chanting carried on the wind, accompanied by the faint glow of campfires flickering in the distance, phenomena attributed to the ancestors reclaiming their sacred space. For those brave enough to explore Fort Lawton, the experience is equal parts haunting and humbling. Its crumbling structures and overgrown pathways serve as a stark reminder of humanity's capacity for cruelty and resilience. Each step taken through its desolate landscape feels like a pilgrimage into the past, where the echoes of boots on gravel and shouts of command mingle with the whispers of the dead. Whether viewed as a memorial to fallen soldiers or a haunted battlefield, Fort Lawton continues to resonate with the ghosts of its past, ensuring that their stories and grievances will never be silenced. As you wander its abandoned corridors or stand atop the bluff gazing at the horizon, remember, Fort Lawton is not merely a relic of war. It is a liminal space where history and horror converge, where the living and the dead share an easy communion. And should you feel the hairs on your neck rise or hear the distant murmur of voices carried on the breeze, heed the warning. The spirits of Fort Lawton are watching and waiting. The Crescent Theatre, where applause meets apparitions, step into the grandeur of Aberdeen's Crescent Theatre, and you'll find yourself transported to a bygone era of velvet curtains, gilded balconies, and the lingering scent of old-world glamour. Opened in 1925, this architectural gem has hosted luminaries ranging from vaudeville performers to opera singers, earning its place as a cultural cornerstone of Grays Harbor County. Yet beneath its polished veneer lies a darker narrative, one woven with threads of tragedy, passion, and the supernatural. The Crescent Theatre is not merely a venue for entertainment, it is a stage where the boundaries between life and death blur, leaving audiences and actors alike questioning whether the applause they hear comes from the living or the departed. The theater's haunted reputation stems from a series of incidents that span its storied history. One of the most enduring legends centers around a young actress named Lila, whose promising career was cut tragically short. According to local lore, Lila fell ill during a performance in the 1930s and collapsed backstage. Despite efforts to save her, she succumbed to her illness shortly thereafter. Since then, numerous reports have surfaced of a spectral woman clad in a flowing gown roaming the halls and wings of the theater. Performers preparing for shows have described seeing her reflection in mirrors, only to turn and find no one there. Some claim to feel a gentle touch on their shoulder or hear soft humming emanating from empty dressing rooms, believed to be Lila rehearsing lines she never had the chance to deliver. Beyond Lila's ghostly presence, the Crescent is said to harbor other spirits who refuse to relinquish their connection to the stage. Among them is a mischievous entity dubbed the Phantom Stagehand, whose antics range from playful to downright disruptive. Ushers working late shifts have reported chairs shifting positions on their own, spotlights flickering erratically, and ticket stubs mysteriously disappearing from locked boxes. On several occasions, actors have found props missing only to discover them later in unexpected locations, as if someone, or something, was rearranging the set. While these occurrences might seem harmless, they contribute to an atmosphere of unease that permeates the building, reminding everyone present that they are not alone. Perhaps the most spine-chilling tale involves a fire that ravaged the theater in the 1950s, claiming the lives of several patrons and staff members. Though the structure was rebuilt and reopened, it is said that the spirits of those who perished in the flames still linger, their anguish etched into every corner of the space. Visitors recount hearing faint screams and the crackling of burning wood, even though no fire has touched the premises in nearly 7 decades. During renovations in the 1990s, construction workers refused to enter certain areas after repeatedly encountering cold spots and unexplained noises. One worker claimed to have seen a charred figure standing in the shadows, its face obscured by smoke. When he called out, the figure vanished, leaving behind only the acrid smell of ash. Modern-day performances at the Crescent often serve as unintentional seances, with cast and crew reporting strange occurrences that defy logical explanation. Musicians have described instruments playing themselves during rehearsals, while lighting technicians swear they've seen apparitions walking across the stage during blackouts. Audience members seated in the upper balcony sometimes report feeling an unseen presence leaning against their chair or brushing past them, despite ample empty seats nearby. These experiences lend credence to the belief that the theater operates as a liminal space, a threshold between worlds where the dead continue to seek solace or closure. For paranormal enthusiasts, the Crescent Theater presents a tantalizing opportunity to explore the intersection of art and the afterlife. Investigators equipped with EMF meters and digital recorders have captured compelling evidence of supernatural activity within its walls. Audio recordings revealed disembodied voices whispering lines from forgotten plays, while thermal cameras capture fleeting images of figures standing in doorways or peering from behind curtains. Even seasoned skeptics admit to feeling an undeniable shift in energy when stepping onto the stage, as though the weight of countless performances and tragedies hangs heavy in the air. What sets the Crescent apart from other haunted theaters is its ability to evoke both awe and apprehension. It is a place where creativity thrives alongside chaos, where the thrill of live performance coexists with the chill of the unknown. Whether you attend a show or simply wander its hallowed halls, the Crescent demands respect, not just for its artistic legacy, but for the restless souls who call it home. As you take your seat and wait for the curtain to rise, remember, the applause you hear may be more than just admiration for the living. It could very well be a standing ovation from those who never left the stage. As we draw this first chapter of our haunted journey through Washington State to a close, let us pause to reflect on the myriad stories that have unfolded before us. From the spectral streets of Seattle to the cursed tunnels of Andersonville, from the tragic echoes of Darrington to the lingering wrath of Fort Lawton, we have encountered a tapestry of terror woven with threads of history, emotion, and the supernatural. These places are not mere backdrops for ghost stories. They are living monuments to the resilience of the human spirit and the enduring power of memory. They remind us that the past is never truly buried. It breathes, it whispers, and sometimes it screams. This exploration of Washington's haunted heritage is far from over. In part 2 of our series, we will venture even deeper into the shadows, uncovering more chilling tales and forgotten legends. We'll step into places where time seems to stand still and the veil between worlds grows thin. Whether you are a skeptic seeking intrigue or a believer chasing goosebumps, the next installment promises to deliver an unforgettable descent into the unknown. Until then, stay curious, stay brave, and remember, the darkest corners of history often hold the brightest truths. Thank you for joining us on this journey into the haunted heart of Washington State. Keep your lanterns lit. We'll see you soon.